What at
get
Anfield,
out.
eh? As you and Chat said, his missus, welcome back.
Love you. Bye.
To the Roaring Peacock podcast. We talk about Leeds United when we're not yelling at our woman. My name's Adonis, and you know me as at the Adlights on Twitter. It's a very good hello from me. Joining us to discuss Liverpool 1, Leeds United 2, the prospect of Adam Forshaw, a brand new shiny midfielder. Leeds accepting offers for him in January. Crew beating Leeds in the worst penalty shootout you've ever seen in your life. Bournemouth preview, and we'll talk a bit about Leif Davis as well. It's the Prince of Darkness himself, Machievelli at Ewan Metcalf.
Good evening, folks. Good to see you, boys.
Good to see you, mate. And Barney.
Aye, it's been a while. All right, lads.
Lad from the internet. Barney recovering from a big night last night in a wardrobe, I've been hearing. So, where to begin? You want meaningless chit-chat, or should we get right into it? Or meaningful chit-chat?
I would say, we haven't got any meaningless. I've got some meaningful chit-chat. I haven't got any meaning. We keep saying that, and we haven't got any. Oh, I'll tell you what I'll say. Everybody's got to wish my little boy, I'm glad, look on Friday, Friday. Because he's got his assessment for the shadow squad for Leeds United's under-14 academy. So there you go. That's the news. So he's been in the development centre for about a year, and he's been moved up, whatever that means. Break his heart even more significantly, basically. But yeah, so it's a really tough gig, and he's done well.
As Leeds United tend to do.
Yeah, with it. Yeah, get used to that, son. So yeah, he's got his assessment at Leeds United Shadow Squad on Friday, so he'll have 2 hours, an hour and 45 minutes. Yeah, worthy. So there you go.
Well, I managed about 10 minutes against him in the back garden, so that was enough for me.
Yeah, he has got a good engine on him. To be fair, that's half the. And he's very fast, so he's got two traits that he definitely did not pick up from me.
I was just side on, making sure I didn't get nutmegged.
Yeah.
I don't care what happens as long as it doesn't go through my legs.
He loves a nutmeg. But genuinely, if anybody wants to wish him good luck, because he's going through a bit of he's a very confident lad, but he's having a bit of a drought or a dearth of confidence at the minute. So I think any good wishes to Luca for Friday night would probably just give him a little.
Luca, they'd be mad. They'd be mad not to take you, Luca.
Crazy.
Exactly.
He better get it, because he owes me about $3,000 in football boots. So
The way Leeds are going, he'll be on the bench soon.
Yeah. Every £130, £150, £170 pair of football boots I buy him, I remind him of the fact that that's going in the bank of dad for when he makes it. He owes me that.
Wow.
Is that how much they are nowadays?
Well, not for many kids. They might go with some Sondicos or a pair of miters, but Luca, wants the ones that all the professionals are wearing. The boots he's got at the minute. Foden was wearing them the other week. Rodrigo had them on. Koch. Yeah, they all had them on the other week, and he wants these luminous green ones, which everybody's wearing at the minute. So it's literally heartbreaking, because it's like, don't make you play any better, son. I had to do a paper round and get a milk round to buy some New Balance Guru skin boots that were like £54 in Target Sports, and he's like, Dad, I want these boots. How much are they? £224. Really? Right, okay, yeah. So
only.
I always wanted the Puma Kings.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, Puma Kings. Oof.
Yeah. Adidas Coppers, Adidas Kaisers, Adidas World Cups. I had all of them. Yeah. I loved them, but I had to buy a lot of them myself. I wasn't going up to my old man saying, "Oh, Dad, can I have 200, 300 quid to buy a pair of boots?"
Another board.
I love how the actual cost to Luca is hearing you whinge all the way to the shop and back.
Yeah, you sussed me out, mate. It's exactly that. You want to get bloody job, son, like I do, get paper out. Bet your own fucking boot.
And Barney, you want to talk about it was a podcast you saw last night?
Yeah, I went to the Top Flight Time Machine podcast.
Yeah.
They're doing a live show, and it was really good. It was a good laugh, actually. Enjoyed it at the Wardrobe. Nice little venue. First time I've been there.
Did you heckle them a bit? This isn't as good as the Peacock.
Well, it was one of those podcasts where you can get involved and chat a bit and stuff. So, yeah, it was a good laugh. Enjoyed it. Felt it a bit this morning, though. I was a bit arsehole last night. If some people saw my photo on social media.
Yeah, I was going to say, I saw some of your photos from last night. Very rosy cheeked.
The Alex Ferguson complexion.
Yeah. On the boat. Hold still, Barney, while I take your photo. I am.
Oh, notice he feels that rough. He's got a pint of lager. That's, hair of the dog, Barney.
Sorts you out again, doesn't it?
Apparently
Helps me sleep at night.
There you go. And everybody's got an excuse, Barney.
And for me, I'll get it in now. If you haven't, we've just started watching. We've only seen one episode, so no spoilers, although it is a historical show. SAS Rogue Heroes. Very good. From the writer of Peaky Blinders. Just come out on BBC iPlayer.
Is that the one with, what's his name in it?
Probably.
Yeah, him. Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
The guy who was in The Wire. He's really good. He's in... Brassic as well. Oh, what's his name? It's going to annoy me.
Yep, he's the one. Yep.
Yeah, I'll get there, mate. I'll get there. It's been seen here years, man. I can't remember anybody's name anymore. Seriously.
Right. Some of your chat then. Bremner's Ghost. Evening all. Happy hangovers cleared up yet? And happy Halloween. I guess we're an American soccer team now, aren't we? So we've got to get into that. So sorry to hear that, Nova, and so glad that you're better. So we missed some of your messages, by the way. It comes up in our chat a bit delayed. So the very first ones that come on, we won't be able to see. So I'm sorry about whatever's happened, Nova. All the best. Good evening, everyone, says Nora. Good evening, guys, says Michael Brown. You go, Luca, says Nora. Go on, Luke. Go on. Okay. Good luck to your son. Hopefully he smashes it, says Charlie. Good evening, fellas. Still smiling, says Gordon White on Facebook. Oh, me too, mate. We'll get into all that in just a second. £170 for boots. That's more than I paid for my first car, says Bremner's Ghost. My first football boots had toe caps on. Jeez, that was my excuse anyway, says Gordon White. Give people pick up a few red cards for that. Bandy, every time I think of the game, I wipe away a tear. A grand result. Our Jesse deserves a break. Nevertheless, I don't think he is our man. Jesse's still not getting. We will talk about that. I'm only listening to this because I'm out of work. Yes, soccer, says Matt Murphy from San Jose, California.
Hey,
Matt.
California.
Hey, buddy.
I'm sorry you've lost your job.
Yeah.
Has he lost his job, or is he finished work? So he's out of work.
Is it by choice or?
Oh,
it's not the greatest compliment we've ever had.
Yeah,
I'm literally forced to watch it because I'm at home eting what's-its on my sofa, not working.
It's better than the
we're
time,
only doing this because we're out of work.
Better than the time that what did we get called? Skinny and fat and nerdy and.
No, it was older than he sounds, fatter than he sounds, and nerdier than he sounds. I'll leave you to work out, people, which one was which.
Right then, Liverpool won, Leeds 2. We didn't do a match review in ages, but this is going to kind of be a match review. So
feels weird.
Yeah, first thoughts, as we always used to say. Barney, you want to go first?
Barney, you've not been on a while.
Well, I went out into Harrogate with a few friends, and some were Liverpool fans, some were Leeds fans. So it was in a pub in Harrogate. It was really good banter watching it together as well. But I was just, when we first scored, I thought that wasn't meant to happen. I thought we were going to get battered, and then they scored. They equalised. I thought, here we go. It's gonna open up the floodgates. But a lot of plaudits are saying how poor Liverpool are. But I thought how good we were on that night. We saw that pressing game that we keep wanting to see, that we last time we properly saw was against Chelsea. I thought some players were outstanding on Saturday night. I was really, really impressed with how it worked. And also it was quite interesting that we used width this time as well, and see what the effects happen there as well. And again, just Tyler Adams is an absolutely machine in mid. I love him to bits. Absolutely fantastic. And when he's not playing in that midfield, we do lack that bite in midfield, and Rocky can't do what he wants to do as well. I was just really, really impressed with how we do it. But for me, it's not about winning Chelsea, winning Liverpool now. It's about the consistency now and building on that result now.
Yep. Mac, first thoughts?
Similar. Didn't expect anything. Went out for a meal with Mrs. Didn't even plan to watch it. Heard with whenever you do that, it's a real bone of contention because you're going to keep checking your phone, or at some points even during mid-meal, just as the violinist comes up with the red rose, you've got your phone on the table with a stream on. Like, get the fuck in! So it was a bit of that going on, but as soon as they scored the first one, I thought, wow, maybe I've worked out that I'm the omen. I'm the one. I shouldn't watch Leeds because whenever I watch them, shit. Fulham a great example. Go 1-0 up. I wasn't watching it. I thought I'll flick it on, and they scored pretty much straight away. So maybe I shouldn't watch Leeds. But yeah, I thought that they played really well. They limited Liverpool wise, and matched them in a lot of places. I said it to you before the game the other week. To go there and get a result, your keeper's got to have you've got to have a bit of luck. And we'd had both of those things for sure. And you thought, to a lesser or greater degree, we definitely did that as well. So I think what we need to do, obviously, is work out how to get results against the lesser teams who don't come out and have a go at us, because Chelsea played really well against Arsenal, who weren't scared of us and came out and had a go. Liverpool the same. And that seems to be where we have our greatest results and kind of impact with Marsh's system. So, I mean, like I said, I was out on Saturday, just the back end of the second half, and saw the kind of winning goal, and I watched it today on LUFC or whatever it's called, Uncovered, and I literally nearly shed a tear. I mean, hairs on the back of my neck. You know how hard-hearted I am. Some of the stuff as we're coming off the pitch, kind of celebrating with each other, and Jackson with Summerville, who must have invested a lot of time and advice into that young man. It proper brought a tear to me. And the other thing is, the fans, we keep saying it, but I've got the utmost respect as I used to. It's still in my heart, but I don't feel like I need to be there every week and what have you. But those lads that travel over there and don't stop with the team, at the end, got everything that those lads that travel, lads and ladies, and everything in between, travel up and down the country, watching that team. It's for moments like that, innit? You go through 10 absolute disappointments to get one moment like that where you can celebrate it, at Anfield, having beat Liverpool 2001. Brilliant, just loved it. So it's so great, and as people have been saying, I'm still smiling. Big smile on my face. Make sure I text and WhatsApped and communicated with lots of Liverpool fans. Probably that'd be the last time I'll be able to do it for another few years, but you get it in there while you can, don't it? It was brilliant. Good, well done. And we slagged him off the other week. So, the team he picked, I think Barney said it, Adams makes a huge difference to everything all over the pitch, really. I thought Melier, who I've given pelters to at times, this was superbly brilliant in goals, almost faultless. So, sometimes you've got to get on people and give them it a bit, and they did.
I mean, to be fair to us, Marsh deserved a lot of stick for the previous 8 games, and he said it himself. He's changed everything this week, and he didn't know what to keep or what not to. So he basically agreed with us. Anyway, I've done some analysis here. Excuse me. And I've drawn circles and arrows and labelled everything.
Oh, this is proper in depth. This is
Jesus. All right, Carragher, calm down, these.
Look at this, guys. Look.
Can you move the circles as well at the same time?
No. I don't have any fancy programs or whatever. But what I wanted to highlight is particularly because, Summerville got a lot of plaudits, but mainly I think because of the goal. But I don't think it was really highlighted what him and Aronson was doing for most of the game. I thought Summerville and Aronson's movement together was just absolutely fantastic. Summerville's drawn Trent out here, which has created this massive space. which Gomez has to try and cover, and then you've got this huge gap between Gomez and Van Dijk, and you've got one-on-ones with the other strikers, so Harrison and Rodrigo. And it's all basically because of this very clever movement from Summerville. So that's the build-up for the first goal. And you were talking about it, Mac. It's just like the pressing, the intense pressing that worked really well. And we have given Marsh a lot of stick, but credit where it's due, that's exactly the kind of style that was going to win a game. It was we were never going to win. I don't think we could have won it any other way, even with Liverpool playing really badly. Rodrigo, special mention for that first goal, by the way, to Rodrigo, who nipped in. Like, he was more aware, quicker, more aware than everybody. Okay, it's a bit of a slip from Alisson. But Van Dijk's coasting. He's half asleep. Not even...
Keep saying about Rodrigo, though. He reads the game well and he sort of anticipates things well. And he's sort of thinking sometimes a bit further ahead than others might. And admittedly, his touch hasn't been great. He's let himself down recently. I don't think he'd been impressed with his own performances. But, he did do well. He was behind Van Dijk for that. And he set off so quick. By the time Van Dijk had reacted... he looked more like Dick Van Dijk, didn't he? But by the time he'd reacted, Rodrigo was already putting it in the back of the net. So, like I say, I have no problem with giving it to people who deserve it. And, it's a very easy position to sit here watching it on telly or in the ground and criticise people. It's a tough game and things don't always go your way, and it doesn't matter how much you try. Things don't seem to go your way sometimes in a game. But, I think the system has been at fault, and I think that has been fair to criticise certain individuals at the team. But give them hats off when bond to that criticism. They'll know what's being said about them out there. They'll feel that pressure to go into Anfield, a place like Anfield, and get a result like that. I mean, is terrific. I did think Liverpool were wasteful. I thought they missed a lot of good, pretty profitable get in front of goal. But that said, fair credit to him. Fair credit to Marsh. He get the system right. He was brave. He did change a few things, and the players responded. And so we can build on it. It's just. Don't want it to be that and then go to Bournemouth. It all comes undone. We'll get to this, won't we? If you don't go to Bournemouth and get something. But, straight away you win a game and you're 15th, not bottom 3. I mean, it's mad. The league's like that, isn't it?
I was really impressed with Rasmus as well. He seems to have grown into the season as well. Aronson is. I've said before. He's just
class.
His class, his energy is just unbelievable. I just thought that it showed on Saturday that we're struggling in places, but these players haven't given up with Marsh, and you could see the reaction after the game where they all went to Marsh and gave him a massive hug. And I think it showed a real collection of, we're going to do this together. And once you get the team going together with the fans, especially after that result, it could be a platform forward going into the season. Because I saw Rocker I've done it on Cups on the LUTV on the app. There's Rocker absolutely celebrating his brains out. He's that excited about it. I just thought, in me personally, I've always thought who's going to take over from Cooper as captain. Recently, I think Rocker's that person that can take over the captaincy.
I think it'll be Adams.
Yeah, hard to go look past Adams.
Yeah. But either one, I mean, they bossed the midfield, didn't they? They absolutely bossed it.
Well, they always say there's a captain that wears the armband and you've got another 3 or 4. Any decent team has another 3 or 4 on pitch, and I think that's the position you want to get in as a lead, because we've always had 1 or 2 leaders, one leader and the rest following, and I think that doesn't really work in today's game. By the way, again, critical of Cooper, said we could have offloaded him quite. He was outstanding as well on Saturday, to be fair to him. So
he was, I wanted to talk about Cooper because it was 1 minute into the game, and this happens, and you just thought,
here we go. Volley it back safely into the back of the net, Coops.
But this is a great example of, do you remember last week I was talking about, basic psychology, and there's 3 parts of the brain. There's the computer, the monkey, and the human. All right, and we're all on the computer. The computer's running the programs that we've built all our habits around. And anything that falls outside of that, then the human or the monkey has to take control. And this
That's
is a great
like me all the time, to be fair.
Right, there you go. It's like all of us. It's psychology, it works for all of us. And this is a perfect moment, and this happens in sport a lot, and you'll find it in cricket a lot when it's just outside the off stump. If you know cricket, it's in they call it the corridor of uncertainty. So this is what I think the problem is, Cooper's problem, which of course we saw in the playoff semi-final with Kiko, and Kiko was even more of just a madman. So that was a big problem. But if this ball is closer to Cooper, he deals with it. If the ball is closer to Meslier, he knows that Meslier is going to deal with it. But because it's landing in this weird, uncertain space in between them, then he panics, and unfortunately, it's not his human that takes over; it's his monkey. And Meslier is panicking as well. And Cooper's actually shouted, "That's mine! I'll have that." And Meslier hasn't heard him because of that huge Anfield crowd noise, obviously. I think the Leeds fans were behind him then.
Yeah, but you don't need to hear anybody to know you shouldn't be anywhere near that, Meslier.
Right.
And that's the problem, isn't it? There is where you can say our critique is fair because he's a young man and he's learning, but he's played how many games now? He's up there. He should be coming
200.
Why is he anywhere near that? I mean, if he stays on his line and Cooper does get to it, I mean, he can't have completely misread that and thought Cooper might not get to it. You stay further back, Cooper can head it back to you safely, whereas there, Cooper heads it back. If he does get a touch on it, it's going straight over you and into back at net. I mean, it's just bad decision making, but that'll be nerves carried forward from the game and probably that effort.
But if you watch, I just want to say, if you watch his next few actions,
yeah.
Absolutely perfect. Nips in, plays a perfect pass that splits lines and gets Leeds moving on the attack again. There was one cross in that was looking for Nunes, I think it is, and he turns and chops it away. He was quite good after that. Yeah. Apart from the. He was one of the few players, and I'll talk about it in a second, in the recycled ball for the goal, the Liverpool goal, who's actually basically in the right place.
Yeah.
I think also as well with Cooper, when you've got the pace that Liverpool have going forward, I think it's always in the back of your mind thinking, I need to do something quick or I'm going to get outpaced here without the ball. So I think but just looking at that freeze frame there, it's just got vibes of Derby, hasn't it? Playoffs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Difficult.
One of Cooper's earliest games, like when he first came from Chesterfield, and I remember he chested one into his own net, and it was quite early in the season. It was like I've tried to cut it out and just chested it into the back of the net, and it has vibes of that, where just not communicating. But in that cauldron, probably wanting to prove a point. The first 5 minutes was going to be, didn't concede, didn't start to get jittery, and I think just helped to settle them, did it? The more the game went on, and of course getting that goal early changed the game, I thought. Yeah,
it was after a little while. It was more cold than cauldron as well. Yeah. All you could hear were Leeds fans. Just want to highlight this because we're talking about Cooper. Coops predicts it makes him stand out in error, but also helps him snuff out things early, says Paul Homeboy. And I tend to agree with that. I think he gets a lot of flack, but he does. The thing is, he's a bit like a referee, and I thought the referee was really good, which is a separate point. But defenders, when they're doing their job, you don't notice them. You don't really, when they're just doing the basics. It's these extreme moments when, Rasmus, that tackle to deny Salah a one-on-one, and then he turns around and gives it the big fist pump. You remember that, obviously, and then obviously you remember this big kind of hairy moment at the start with Cooper and Meslier rushing towards each other. So you remember those things, but you generally don't tend to remember all of the routine interceptions and tackles and blocks and headers away that they make. Okay, let's talk about this Liverpool goal then, because it's a bit of a shit sandwich. So we started off with the goal and how awesome we all feel. And I just want to talk about recycled balls because this has been a problem all season. And this is shortly before the first Liverpool goal. So the corner came in.
Fucking hell. Don't show me, I'm not looking. She's gonna go make a cup of tea. She's gonna have a cup of tea or something. Fucking hell. Fucking hell. Oh, feel sick.
So this is this the second time it's come in. So the corner's come in, it's gone out, and now it's come back in again from Trent. And what's happened is when we've set up really great for the corner, then the ball's gone out, and then we've tried to push out, or half of us has, half the team have, and then they've immediately put it back into the box, and we've got obviously 1, 2, 3 Liverpool players. All of this that isn't coincidental. These 5 Leeds players all in a line, they're meant to be there. They've trained to be there. But these 3 players need to be on these 3 men. It's fine to have 1 or 2 go out and try and block the cross. But if you do that, then you need to try and be a bit more intense and try and get a bit closer. But these lads, they need to be aware and see the other players in the box, which is what you've been saying, Mac.
Oh,
and
God,
the next one, the next one's even worse.
Oh, it's worse than that. Fuck off.
This is from when they score, and that's the one that you've probably seen.
Yeah, I kind of get that one. I understand that one more, but I still cannot understand. Don't get goal side of a player that's in your box on the edge of the 6-yard box, which is where 70%, 75% of crosses end up. What system says that? And I'd rather the manager bollock me for not following a system and fucking win a header in there. And don't, the reason I say I understand that more is because Rocker missed the ball as it came over. It looked like he was going to put it out for a corner again, and he kind of slipped, and it kind of went almost. So I don't think anybody was expecting them to get the ball. It's this anticipation of we're going to win that ball. Let's start getting out.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
You've got to be more balanced than that. And ultimately, when that ball comes back across, I mean, Salah's, you leave one of the most dangerous players in the box unmarked. Just me, it's unforgivable, and I'm not a football coach, mastered in the techniques of what, Jesse Marsh and what Bielsa was trying to achieve. But as a football player, as any guy who's watched played at a decent level, you just think, how? And you said it again, the first clip you showed there, wingers, any winger, the worst winger in the world, but Trent, say wingers to get crosses in, Beckham. The one thing that they want is time and space to curve that ball, to shape it into where they want to aim it and put it in an area, that corridor that you've talked about, Donny. The more time and space you give them to do that. So as well as you've got 5 players in a straight line that are not doing anything, who's to go out and cut that space down and get a foot on the ball or make that cross difficult? It was exactly the same at Fulham. It was the kid had half an hour to cross a ball in. I mean, it's professional football. If he's been practicing, he should be able to cross a ball pretty much onto somebody's, on a sixpence. So yeah, it's frustrating. Sorry, I should shut up now.
No, it's all right. I mean, it's been like that for the last 8 games, 9 games, or whatever. It's just that at Anfield we did get a little bit lucky, I would say, that that wasn't punished more. I
think Ewan's right though. I think that the way the system looks like from my eyes, from those 2 clips, is that you've got players that have said, right, you're going to win the ball. The other players that are way out, they're saying, right, we're going to counter attack, because a lot of our game is going to be, it's all about counter pressing it and counter attacking. And I think that's where the problem lies, is that if you're going to get outnumbered by those players that are meant to win the ball, those other players that are ready to counter attack are just basically completely out of the game and redundant to what the whole thing, the defending is. Sometimes you just got to be dirty, win that ball no matter what, and then counter attack when you can.
Okay, a few messages, and then in the style of a shit sandwich, we'll get on to the Leeds winner, and we'll pick up the mood again a bit. So Hannah Bradley, hello lads. Hello Hannah.
Hi Hannah.
Aye.
Long time no see.
She's from Harrogate as well.
Yeah, there you go, and she's in the US as well. So that yeah. I think people don't value Cooper's presence enough. He clearly is a leader in the dressing room. Makes me cringe when people say we should get rid of him. There you go.
Should have listened last week, Hannah. You'd have loved it.
Spot on.
World-class defending there. I think that's a bit of sarcasm. I'll be there next week. Oh, she's coming to the UK. There you go. And Gary Keith, love the way you say boys, girls, and anyone in between. There you go.
Oh, do you want to? I'm a multicultural, very open-minded kind of guy.
Are you available for speaking?
Public speaking.
Yeah, public speaking.
Always not for free.
Kids' birthday parties. Gary Keith, to be fair, Rocker should have kicked it out. Yep, just get rid. Better safe than sorry. Meslier tried his best to save it. Yeah, but I think, like I showed you with the arrow, he just needs to be. The only thing I'd fault Meslier for, apart from his distribution, is it's sometimes his positioning, and sometimes it can be a little bit weak. Like that goal, it wasn't Arsenal. Who was it? Fulham. Yeah. It was Fulham. Mitrovic. Yeah. Weak hand.
Getting beat on that near post, it's such a big lad. I mean, it shouldn't go. I think the Saka finish and one header actually went above his head. I mean, his arms must be as big as me. It's like, but it's a timing thing, isn't it? It's a kind of anticipation thing. But there is criticisms of him. But as people keep saying or reminding me, he's a young man, and I got reminded by a couple of people on Twitter on Saturday after his performance. He's still thinking that. Because I was giving him a bit of shit last week. That's I'm allowed to have an opinion and think he's had a really bad game and he needs to pick up. And when he does, I'll be the first one to say, marvellous. I cared not one bit that he'd had a brilliant game on Saturday. Great, that's what I want of him.
Yeah, that header from, I think it was Firmino. I think that was the save.
Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah, great.
Because we've been talking about the Van Dijk header that Dean Henderson had saved. Yeah. And we were saying why, we were comparing that with the goal that Mitrovic scored, and we were sort of saying, why can't Meslier do? Well, nine saves at Anfield. You can't ask any more of a 22-year-old.
He's going to be an absolute superstar in world football. He's got to be 22 years old. A goalkeeper doesn't peak till 28, 29. It's just and 200 appearances already as well. It's just ridiculous.
The save from Núñez was brilliant as well, and I really liked when he was coming off the pitch. I always think Liverpool fans, for all people criticise them, they're very fair. They'll if somebody's had a good game, they'll always say that. And I heard a couple of people shouting at him on the Leeds Uncut thing, the LUTV thing. Oh, well played, lad. Good game, lad. Telling him he was brilliant. So fair play.
I'm not even going to attempt it. Not going to attempt it.
You stopped doing accents. You used to be brilliant at accents. That's part of the reason I used to tune in before I was on the programme. It's just for your annihilation of every nationality.
Brilliant is a very loose term. Right, let's round off this shit sandwich with some positivity. And this is what I'm talking about with Summerville. Nonto as well. He does absolutely brilliantly. He was causing them all sorts of problems. He was giving Milner nightmares. But look at how much space Summerville has got here, and this is into the build-up of the goal. These I'm numbering the Liverpool players now. 1, 2, 3. They're the ones who are completely out of position. This is Thiago. He's not giving Summerville anywhere near the respect he deserves. We've watched the under-23s for 2-3 years now. And I've never watched youth football before. So it's just not being accessible or particularly interesting to me. But seeing Summerville play so well in the under-23s, it added another layer of enjoyment and joy and elation and ecstasy when this moment happened. That's not a mistake. He hasn't found himself there. He's created that space by ghosting in between those lines there. So that is the first screenshot. Let me get the next one. I tell you what,
We're almost professional, aren't we? What the fuck's going on? I didn't. This is not what I signed up to. I signed up to pissed up lockdown stuff. I know this is not. What's going on?
I'll put us on this side so you can see it. This is Nonto. Now he's got 1, 2, 3 Liverpool players. I think that's Milner, that's Gomez, and that's Curtis Jones. They're not aggressive enough. They're not intense enough into Nonto's face, and he's allowed, but they're scared of his pace because they know how quick it is. So they all want to get a yard on him just in case he puts the ball here and runs past them.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Jamie Carragher called him Tonto.
Yeah, Tonto. Yeah, little Willie.
Yeah.
Well, we're not sure if that's the case, but no.
See, well, look at the straight away. Nonto, he's out wide. I mean, look what width does for you.
Yeah,
you don't have to be central. You're dragging 3 players out wide, and then the spaces behind. It's amazing, isn't it? I mean, who'd have thunk? I'll tell you what I loved with that a bit, which you can't see on this clip, but the little header he did round the corner. So as he received the ball into him, he's kind of flicked the header and then went round, and he looks. He's going to be a handful, I think. I'd love to see a little bit more of him. I don't know whether he's ready now, but it just little things he does I really like. I think he looks good.
It was clever how he just brought 3 players completely out of the game as well. He knew exactly what he was trying to do, and it just how he threaded that ball into the box to Bamford, which I think we all know was a miscontrolled. It worked out in the end for us, didn't it? So.
It bubbled up like a balloon.
Yeah.
It looked like it was almost lighter than air. Like,
and Alisson actually got a hand to it as well. If you see the goal back from behind the goal, he actually got a hand to it, but it's because Summerville was so quick in his decision making to do it. That's how he got the goal, I think.
Yeah.
Right. So that's all the screenshots. What was it? Production value, someone called it in the comments, that we've got. So we can go back to just being a normal podcast again. I wanted to talk about Adams. We've kind of done that a little bit. For me, I just thought he was really impressive. And we've been talking in recent weeks about leaders. We were talking about we've missed Berardi. We've missed Rafinha. We've missed Phillips. We've missed Alioski. All these leaders who were, captain their country or were just massive for us in the dressing room and on the pitch. And I thought Adams stepped up when who was it? Aronson got tackled by Robertson, and Adams went straight in there and said no, and pushes him and like, you don't do that to my mate, kind of thing. I just. My heart skipped a beat. It was so full.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's great. No, I think he looks. Somebody's put it Bremner like. I think that sort of small, diminutive, aggressive, stick up for your mates, energy wise. I mean, again on that LUTV thing, everybody else is kind of trolling off the pitch. Cooper's kind of walking off, looks a bit knackered. Adams comes like jogging past 100 mile an hour and. Gives it, let's go to a couple of people up way off pitch, and it's like, fucking hell, where does he get it from, man? If he was a boxer, he'd have Varda onto him, wouldn't he? But
3 points, let's get the fuck out of here was what he said in the tunnel. And yeah, he was doing these basketball moves with Melier, wasn't he?
Yeah,
brilliant. I think with Adams as well is that it's a measured aggression. He's not in your face all the time. He knows when to show that aggression or to stand up to players when needed. And it's just, I've said before, and it's just it's just the simple stuff he does is actually really enjoyable to watch. The way he just, I know a lot of people probably would call him a water carrier, the typical early 2000s midfielder like Mac. Just how he just manages to connect the defence to the attack so easily, and he'll win the ball and then just say, right, I'll give it to the best creative player near me, and there you go, off again.
Yeah, every good team has had a water carrier. Well, the water carrier is a disrespectful thing, Dunga for Brazil, like you say, Kante. every team who goes on and wins things, which certainly wins a league over 30 odd games of a season, has that player in their team. Everyone without fail.
Click was it in the Championship, wasn't he?
Yeah, a little bit.
Phillips was the ball winner, and Click was the box to box.
Yeah.
He was everywhere. But what I wanted to say next was about Aronson. Because for me, Aronson, it feels a bit like, a Grealish type. I know Grealish is quite, divisive, especially among Leeds fans. But and he's changed a lot since he's gone to City. But when he played for Villa, he was everywhere. He was absolutely everywhere. And he would tackle, and he'd pick the ball up surrounded by 3 players, and little twinkle toes, and he'd get round them and get a pass away and get the team moving, and that's exactly.
Yeah, I'll fall down and get a free kick.
Yeah, but that's exactly what Aronson's doing. That's exactly what he's doing. He's winning free kicks, and he's rolling around a bit and complaining, "Come on, ref, give him a yellow card," but because he's so tricky, he can get away with a dive every now and then because they are trying to hack him down anyway.
I must admit, when you watch it live in the ground, the amount of times he's getting hacked and players on him all the time, I can't remember the last time a Leeds player's been like that, because he's so tricky and threatening with the ball. Within one or two, it goes past 1 or 2 players, he's just opened up the whole of the play, ready for Leeds to attack. He is a really, really, really good player, and I know everyone will say 25 million. It's probably quite a lot of money to spend on a player that's is not proven in this league, but I think he's fantastic so far.
Well, like we said the other week, system aside, the players he's brought in, to be fair, virtually to a man, have been excellent. And they are Marsh signings, aren't they? That's not Victor Orta. That's him and Marsh working together and saying, right, I'd like him, and I trust him, and I think them two together as a pivot would be good. And Aronson, being that busy sort of box to box, Christensen, I think, you've got to give the lad time. You knew straight away he was going to be that combative, 100%, a bit like Pontus, that sort of Scandinavian kind of, come on, let's fucking have it. You know what I mean? You could just see it in him. So, once he learns the speed of the game, and I think he's going to be very, very good. So you can't criticise the players that have come on board to sort of deliver that system, but we can definitely question at times how the system's leaving us open. Like I said, what we've got to learn, and how we've managed to shit sandwich a 2-1 win against Liverpool away is fucking beyond me. Because we're so negative when we get beat by Fulham at home, but we should just be going, "Wow, this is great," and just being all dead positive. But no, I think it's you can't be. We're not fair weather, are we? We kind of give it. We keep it as real as we possibly can, and I think by not getting carried away too much when we get beat, and not getting thinking we're going to be champions, or Barney, you're usually the default for this to go, we're going to finish in Europe now, but but you've got to be realistic, and I just think if there's tweaks to that system, make it certainly we've got to learn how to break. Aren't going to come out and be so expansive against us down. That's the secret at the moment, because to beat Chelsea, to nearly do Arsenal, to beat Liverpool but lose to Leicester, Fulham, it's annoying, isn't it? It's disappointing, really disappointing.
The real frustration is that we've got some really, really good players that we've brought in, and we've got a good mixture of youth, some experience, some international players as well. And I just think that you're right, the system sometimes just doesn't work. But I hate to say the words, but Bielsa said you always trust your system, trust the process. And it was funny, Tyler Adams put that on his Instagram this week, saying trust the process. Yeah. But the fact that Marsh has said I've tried everything different this week is it's good that he wants to change things to a certain extent, but also you could worry about it a little bit onto another aspect to think, if you don't trust your process, what are you gonna? Should the players trust the process as well? So again, we just need to build on this performance and not think it's we've won the FA Cup kind of week. We need to build on this now, because we've got 2 games before the World Cup, and if we get 4 points out of these next 2 games, you never know what could happen after Christmas.
Yep, Aronson, just to round it off on him. 13 kilometres against Liverpool on Saturday. He's created the most chances for Leeds. I think he's been our best attacking player, our most consistent attacking player, and the most available one because Sinister has obviously had injuries. I remember last season when we didn't get him in January, watching him play for Salzburg against Bayern Munich and walk past 4 or 5 Bayern Munich players and get an assist within the first 5 minutes. And I thought, right, that's it. We're not getting him. So we always knew he had it in him. But I think the reason why we're a bit, calmer and more sober is, one, because we're doing this on, what day is it today? Wednesday? If we'd have done it Saturday night after the game, or if we'd have done it Sunday, I think those emotions would have overall anything else that we had to say.
I couldn't speak on Saturday anyway. I was 10 pints deep in, so I wouldn't have been able to speak anyway.
We knew. Listen, you have to tell us, because the minute we get a WhatsApp group call from you, we fucking know exactly what's going down. It's like, oh no, Barney's in a tangle again. I was sat in a bar in Leeds and I was like, should I get him just to see if he's close so I can go and help him?
Did I ring?
Yeah, exactly. There you go. You just answered your own question. I just laughed. I said, you got to come up. Barney is in a group, has started a group. He's got on the chat. Is he on the pitch again?
I'm sure that you've done podcasts that you don't remember, Barnes.
Yeah, I've done plenty. Yeah. I remember apart from socks on. I was going to answer it just to see if you're in Leeds and I could help you out and get you in a taxi to get you home again.
Right, let's finish off the Liverpool match review. Magic moment. Do we do magic moment or man of the match first?
Yeah, it don't matter, does it?
No.
Magic man of the match.
Man of the moment.
Man of the moment match. Come on, Barney.
Man of the match.
Man of the match, Elan, for me. He was phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
Magic moment's got to be Summerville and that little embrace with Jacko. That was nice at the end.
I remember now. This is where you two go first, take all of mine, all the obvious ones, and then I end up looking like an idiot.
I'll let you go next, then there you go. I'll let you go next.
All right. Well, now I don't know what to say because I don't have enough time to think about it.
Can't win.
Man of the match for me is Aronson. I just thought, it would have been Meslier, but I think, around about the 5 or 6 save mark, it was Aronson. And then as Meslier kept making more and more saves and they got more and more ridiculous, it had to be him. But yeah, Aronson, I thought he was everywhere. He literally was, ran more than anybody else, created more chances. His movement alone created space for everybody else to do all their stuff. I just thought he was fantastic. Incredible defending from the front, tackling, vision, winning free kicks. I thought it was easily his best performance in a Leeds shirt. I just thought he was absolutely fantastic. I don't think we would have won without him. It's such a shame that he didn't score when it crashed against the crossbar. I thought he was just easily the best player on the pitch. Apart from Meslier, just tipped it over by getting, the most saves out of any goalkeeper in the Premier League this season. And my magic moment, I think when Adams rushed over and got right in Robertson's face and pushed him. Said, take your very nice Scottish dainty little hands off of my friend. You've probably said something like that.
Would imagine so, yeah.
Matt?
I can't go because I've given him so much shit and I've been reminded of it plenty this week. I've got to give man a match to Meslier. I won't try and be too out there by trying to pick somebody different. I think it's hard to look beyond him. I tip the hat to Aronson. I mean, running, was it 13.5 kilometres? I mean, is that the most in the Premier League this year by any player, I think? Or it's certainly up there, isn't it? I mean, wow. I mean, it's hard to run 13.5 kilometres. Just run it, never mind. But, try and play football.
It's hard to even think about it.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about it. I'm going, no.
I know, I'm tired thinking
so.
about it. Yeah, exactly. So to actually play football in between running 13.5 kilometres is almost impossible. So, but yeah, Meslier, man of the match for me. Again, partly because to go there and get a result, your keeper's got to have a brilliant game. Other people can have a bad game or not play so great, but your keeper's got to be spot on. Bar that early scare, he was brilliant. Magic moment, I'm going to go in and go just the crowd at the end. Where Leeds United we'll stay when we'll stay when we want, or we'll stay as long as we want, sort of thing, and singing the Aronson American Boy song and just celebrating. Some of those moments in last season particularly, and this season certainly more recently, have been pretty thin on the ground. So just to give them people that travel up and down the country following the team, that moment, or that, a winner in extra time. So there's, coming up to full time where it's pretty hard to get one back, where you can just enjoy it a little bit, and it's that nervous tension, and then you can just let it all rip when the final whistle goes. I thought it's lovely for them, but also for the team celebrating in front of them. I thought that was great, and it's nice. That's that unity you want to see in it. When the thing that you've got to show it is when you're getting beat. When you're not doing so well, you've got to still show somehow that unity. I know it's hard, but not to go off the pitch and not go up to the fans like Marsh and people kind of disappeared down the tunnel, didn't they? And kind of didn't. You still got to go and do those basics, I think. So it was nice for them to all get together and celebrate together and show that unity that we've got, and that's what's going to carry us through this season and get us over the line, isn't it?
Yeah, there were a few pretty naughty chants, but I mean, if you don't expect that from Leeds United fans, then you haven't been paying attention. But to me, the thing was, I just couldn't believe how quiet Anfield was. There was no response. I mean, Leeds fans could have sung anything and there would have been absolutely no response. I just thought it was really weak from Liverpool, the players. I thought it was incredibly weak from Liverpool, the fans. And the talk about Anfield being a cauldron in this great atmosphere, there was nothing there. All you could hear was Leeds fans.
I think the thing with Anfield, it's not a myth. I mean, I've been to Anfield and it has been really good. I was talking to a lad today who said, it's really welcoming. He's a black lad from Leeds, a boxer, and he's been to Elland Road. He loves Leeds United. He's been to Elland Road, and sometimes still feels there's a bit of an edge there when you're a black man walking into the ground and being in the stand, whatever. There's still like an edge, and people look at you a bit funny. That's what he was saying. Again, I can't comment. I'm not being in that position, but what you were saying about going to Anfield, that if everybody's welcoming and it feels a lot more cosmopolitan, and you think, well, Liverpool as a city is no more, probably less cosmopolitan than Leeds. Why is that? And what I was saying to him was, it'd be interesting to know what that percentage is of tourists or people that go watch it from. I was saying, if you watch the crowd at Man United, at Liverpool, at Spurs, Arsenal, at some of these grounds, yes, London's a bit different, but northern cities, you kind of think a lot of those sort of those cosmopolitan faces that you see in the ground. I'd be interested to know how many of those are local, how many of those have come from other countries, and that's like they're, like us going to watch Dortmund if you went to Germany, or us going to watch Ajax if you went to Amsterdam. How many of those people are tourists? And obviously, I don't think tourist fans create any atmosphere because they won't know half the songs. They won't really know what's going on. It's more there in 100 photographs. Everybody knows you'll never walk alone at the start, so everybody gets involved in that, and the flags come out, and it's all, guns blazing. But after that, it does a little bit, and I'm not being disrespectful to Liverpool fans. I think they're good fans. Most Liverpool fans you meet are well balanced and complimentary about your club, and I think we've always had a bit of an affinity with Liverpool fans, really. But it's not the atmosphere that it's cracked up to be, for sure, and I don't think many Liverpool fans would argue, and I don't know if that's the reason why, or there can't be any other reason, because when it was full of Scousers, it was fucking bonkers, wasn't it? I mean, it was a brilliant atmosphere.
Now, how long have we got, guys? Because I just realised we've been talking 54 minutes about one game.
Well,
I've got 15 minutes.
All right,
plenty of time. I've got the same.
Okay, get through a few of your comments then. I'm daring to be optimistic this week after beating Liverpool. I know I should know better, but Bielsa brought the hope back. Bielsa's gone, Paul. That was Paul Homboy. I was doing cartwheels after the game, which is a right laugh for a 57-year-old. Gary Keith. Gary, I've never been able to do a cartwheel. Never. I get about halfway through and then my legs fold. You know what I mean? And then I go a bit sideways. And then I try and land on my feet and I end up on my head. Just looked on the map. Leeds is pretty close to Liverpool. And this is Matt from San Jose without a job. Was there a parade? Was there a parade? Parada? Was there a parade in Liverpool after the match? No, a parade of bin dippers off back home, or what? Sorry, we shouldn't call them that, should we? Man of the match, Elan, says Gary Keith. There we go. Michael Brown, Ayling, indeed. I might have Ayling as first choice. Okay, that was a conversation I missed.
Yeah, it was to a question about would you have, if Christensen was going to be first choice, who would you have as backup? Drama, Ayling, and would you, I think if you want me to answer that quicker, because I kind of kept an eye on it, I'd definitely have Ayling as backup and loan Drama out. Drama's done nothing to me to say that he's either a character or a player that's going to be able to come on and give you what Ayling gives you, or give you what probably Ayling gives you in the dressing room. So definitely Christensen with Ayling as backup.
Moment Nonto celebration for the second goal. Okay. That was Gary Keith, by the way. Magic moment, Melliot and Summerville post-match interview, says Bandy. They said more times than Eddie Gray says. I don't know if you watch that again, you rewatch that, you'll see what I mean.
I thought the camera angle was quite amusing because they
kept having to go down and go up, and go down and go up. Yeah. Adonis loves a bit of argy-bargy, says Paul Homeboy. I must admit, when I saw that comment in the comment out of my eye, I thought it said Adonis loves a bit of an orgy.
I saw that as well, thought the same.
Let's not get him started. Let's get that leather sofa out and the Vaseline out and the baby oil, my friend.
And Hannah was talking about the tourists at Anfield. I had 3 friends from California there that are Liverpool fans. Their entire section were tourists. So there you go. American tourists, says Matt Murphy. American tourists, says Hannah Bradley. It's just some scintillating chat here. It's on my list to go to a Premier League game, says Matt. And Hannah says, in capital letters, without a job, which I thought was fantastic. Joking Leeds fans, says Matt, without the hint of joy in this whole interaction. It's fantastic interaction. I'm loving this chat, by the way. My 30th birthday is on Saturday, so it would be typical Leeds for us to lose to Bournemouth. Don't say it. Should we move on very quickly? If Adam Forshaw is out of contract at the end of the year, apparently Leeds are listening to offers for him in January, which is weird because I thought Rads announced that he was our shiny new midfielder.
Interesting.
Happy to see him go? It's a weird way of putting it.
No, I actually feel really sorry for the bloke because I do think he's a really good footballer and a good midfielder. It's just made of glass, isn't he? There's always something wrong with him all the time, and it must be. I mean, he's spoken about it on the documentary about how frustrating and mental health being watching the side dominating the championship, getting promoted, and he's not being able to get involved. And it's the age-old thing. Oh well, he's getting paid millions a year for just being sat on his ass, but it's his job at the end of the day. He's worked all his life to be a professional footballer, and if he can't play football, there's not much to enjoy, is there really? So, but who would take him? Who would seriously take him? I can't see a top championship side coming in for him because it's all about getting the results, and you can't rely on a midfielder that could be injured 70% of the season. Bottom championship side, could he afford his wages? I don't know. It just seems very odd to let him go in January. And what would you get for him? You wouldn't get a lot for him, would you?
I can't think so. No, but you might get, you'd have to put a discount on because you can't sell him, whole.
in instalments. You get his left leg one week, and then when you pay the final instalment, you get his torso.
Get him on Klarna or something like that.
I'd apologise, but the thing is, Adam Forshaw is definitely not listening to the Roaring Peacock podcast, so it's all good. We can say what we want.
Well, it seems that Jesse Marsh is, because he's changing things, as we
That's
suggested
true,
week by week. So he might pass that news on. I think the thing with Forshaw, listen, any player who's cursed by injuries, you've got to have a little bit of sympathy, as Barney said before. But that's not what it's about. It's not about whether you feel sorry for him, whether you think he's a good footballer or not. For such a long time now, and I would argue when he was fit during the closed season and looked like he was going to be, getting in the team, and Rads was saying he was going to be Andy would fit. That was the time to get rid of him, and actually maybe get some money for him, where maybe a mid-stroke, top of the table championship would take him. He's definitely a championship standard football. I mean, I'm not disrespecting him. I'm saying he could definitely do a job in the championship if he stayed fit. And if the demands...
You're talking about the player that Bielsa described as a Champions League footballer.
Which Champions League is that?
He actually said he's the best player at this club, didn't he?
But I can see.
He also said that about Janssen at one point.
Yeah, technically and everything else. I think he is a good footballer, but it doesn't matter, does it? If you're never on the pitch, you're not consistent. You can't fitness those hours under your belt. It doesn't matter how good you are. That's the point, is it?
Yeah, and I think we need to go back to a comment we made a couple of podcasts ago, which is hope. Are we hoping that this will change, or that will change, or this will come good, or that will come good? Are we hoping Tyler Roberts will come good? Are we hoping Adam Forshaw will get fit again? And sometimes you just need to cut your losses. So I think that's a good idea. Crew, did you watch that game?
No.
I saw the penalties. Lack of penalties. Oh, fucking hell. There's some dodgy penalties in there, but there's also some really shit officiating, wasn't there? Because I think two of the saves the goalkeeper made, he was about 2 feet off his line when the ball was struck.
It was absolutely unbelievable. The linesman is there, and I've got an image of him
like
here.
That. Yeah, I know, it's mental. Look at that.
There he is.
What's he looking at?
Look how intense. If you're listening on the podcast, he's basically he's doing like a golf putt with his corner post. Looking very intensely.
He's literally, if you cut across the box there, at that point, somebody's about to strike the ball. Is it Garby? And the guy stood 2 feet off the line, and he's like, "What are you watching?" I think you know what. By that time, with them shit penalties, they probably all just thought, "Can we go home?"
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah,
look at that. He's miles
look
off
at
his
him
line.
there. He's miles off. And if you freeze frame all the other penalties, they're also the goalkeeper. They're exactly the same. The line means nothing to them. They're habitual line steppers, as Charlie Murphy would say. Okay, so if you want to know about that game, basically Crew defended and terrible penalties. I think that was about it.
Yeah, I didn't watch it.
Parked the bus. Yeah. I'll talk briefly about Leif Davis, then I'll get your thoughts on Bournemouth, then we'll hit the road, Jack. Leif Davis, we sold him to Ipswich. He has 5 assists in League One already, and he's the man at Ipswich's man of the month, player of the month, 2 months in a row. Crazy, isn't it? It's almost like, didn't we need a left back? I don't know. I mean,
is he good enough at that level? I don't know. League One's a very different proposition, and I think, to be honest,
could we have just loaned him?
He started out like that at Bournemouth, though.
Yeah,
he did exactly the same at Bournemouth. He was brilliant for the first few months, and then seemed to tail off. And obviously, they've not rated him, so I don't think he's the answer long term. No.
For me as well, I think that you've got to come to a stage as a professional footballer, and if you're just going to get loaned out all the time, do you just say, right, I'm going to go to a League One club, Championship club, and then work my way up? And that was always one of the vision from the youth squad. Anyway, it wasn't about every single player coming into the squad. It was about making those players into great great blokes ready to be a professional footballer, and then hopefully we've put some clauses in contracts where we get a sell-on fee if he goes to a championship club as well. So
I'm quite conscious that this has been very dry, this pod.
it has, hasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, unusually dry.
We've been quite sensible today.
Far too sensible. What the hell is going on?
I don't know. I think it's when you started bringing out the fucking drawings and maps and arrows and
Oh dear.
freeze frames and stuff. I've sort of Alan Shearer, and I was going to have to be doing stuff properly. And
Yeah,
well, you look like him.
I know exactly. That's why I picked him. That's why I picked him.
Next time you do it, just draw some stick men on the pitch as well, just to make it a bit more.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
With big penises.
Massive
Weed coming out of
it. Cock and balls in the corner. Yeah, definitely. That's what you need to do. Do the jizz bit coming out the top though as well.
The jizz bit, yeah.
Do the jizz bit as well. Do the money shot.
And then just don't forget to put some like lines on the bollocks so you've got pubes on as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
People suddenly realizing they've got something else better to do than watch this podcast.
I'm just waiting for what is it? Is it Derek who comes on and says, "Right, I'm off now."
Yeah.
As soon as we start having fun, right, I'm off.
Okay, Bournemouth. Very quickly. And then you can tell me about anything that's happened in your lives. Leeds have won all 6 of their home league games against Bournemouth.
Oh, don't roll out stats like that.
With this,
We've got to win, haven't we? We've got to win. Come on.
The first ever top flight meeting between the sides. It's their best 100% home winning record against any opponent in their league history.
Oh, dear me. It's fucking written in stone now, isn't it? We're going to get beat.
Bournemouth have won just 1 of their 12 league meetings with Leeds. Drawn 2, lost 9. Picking up a 4-win home win in March 2014.
Never played in the Premier League, though, the top division, no?
No, not us. Not us. No. Leeds won 2-1 against Liverpool in the last game, taking more points in that game than in their previous 8 combined.
Jesus. It's horrifying, isn't it?
Haven't won consecutive games within the same campaign since March against Norwich and Wolves. Bournemouth have lost their last 3 Premier League games. The second time this season they've had a 3-game losing run. They haven't lost 4 league games in a row since January 2021. And only 2 teams have forced more high turnovers than Leeds United in the Premier League this season, with the Whites scoring a joint Premier League high 4 goals following a high turnover. The Whites have you don't need to know about that. But anyway, we have to beat them. We should beat them. We have to beat Bournemouth, don't we? This is an absolute must-win game. Liverpool means absolutely nothing if we don't beat Bournemouth. Am I right?
You're right. It means absolutely nothing. It just means that it seems like we're happy clappers again, and that's what it'll be. Oh, we beat Chelsea, we beat Liverpool. It means nothing. It's about getting points on the board now. Like I said before, with only 2 games left now until the shitty, crappy World Cup that shouldn't be happening. So, yeah, we need to win that game. And then the fact it's a 3:00 kickoff as well, for a change, on a Saturday.
Wow. We won't know what to do with ourselves.
Well, the fact that the train strikes as well, which is fantastic.
Yeah, there's always somebody striking, like France.
At least it can only ruin Saturday evening and Sunday.
Yeah, not Thursday, Friday.
Yeah,
like Leicester. No, I think listen, everybody. I think we've said it already. If you don't beat Bournemouth and you don't continue that process of building on Liverpool, which we kind of went downhill after Chelsea a little bit, didn't it? Then you've got to start worrying. These are the teams that we've got to. The season we did really well, the sort of lockdown season, regardless of how we did against the top teams, which second half of the season we did pretty well. We were always beating the teams around us, and the teams we kind of expected to beat in a way, and that's what kind of secured us that Premiership status and made us able to enjoy the last 10, 15. So I think we've got to work out, and it's massive that we beat these on Saturday. But with the pressure on at home, the Liverpool game behind them, there should be a lot of optimism. But I see that both Nora and Gail get out. Both like, we're going to get beat. We're going to do a typical Leeds. We've all got to get behind the lads and hopefully get a result.
Predicting wins, eh?
Oh no, I thought Gail had said I can see us doing a typical Leeds. See us getting Nora said same. So she's gone from we're winning 3-1 to agreeing with Gail saying we're going to get beat. So make your mind up, Nora.
Yeah, come on, Nora. She's also said that she doesn't mean Barney needs to go. She means Barney needs a go. Adonis just can't stop talking. Thanks very much, love. Just told me to shut up, basically.
Yeah.
Thank you.
She's allowed.
So Nora says 3-1. Mark Edison says 3-1. I thought it was 3-1 Bournemouth. No, 3-1 Leeds. Alison Adams 2-2. Thunder in San Jose. Leeds win 2-1. It's interesting. Is that like the butterfly effect or something? There's thunder in San Jose, so Leeds win 2-1 on the other side of the world. Yeah. Gail says, yes, Alison, I'm going 2-0 Leeds. There we go. Oh, and a dodgy penalty win will do me.
Yeah, any win
says
will do
Jameson.
Me. Absolutely, any win will do me. I think Bournemouth will score. I mean, you think beyond Bournemouth. You think Tottenham were 2-0 down against Bournemouth the other week and managed to come back and win 3-2. I mean, so they're not without the guns up front. They can definitely trouble people up front. We're gonna have to be defend as sort of valiantly as we did against Liverpool. But I think we'll win it, and it'll be. I think the 3-2s, 3-1s, are probably going to be about right.
8-1 says Bandy.
On,
Only 8, Bandy.
Yeah.
Is he on glue?
You pessimist. A 0-0 would not surprise me, said Gary Key. Come on, Barnes, give your score prediction. Are you back to happy clapping now? Come on, Barney. Even you were getting negative.
I think it's going to be 2-0, and I want a clean sheet. I want a clean sheet for a change, so 2-0. Just a nice, comfortable 1 goal in the first half, a goal 70 minutes in the second half. Done. There you go. See you later.
Yep. And I'm going 5-2.
What's in that water?
It's not water. That's fucking gin. It's that bloody farmhouse gin again.
Lysergic acid or no, 5-2. I think an early goal. Round about 3 minutes, and then one either side of half time, then a couple of late ones from some of the substitutes. But one thing I would say about Bournemouth is I just think after that Liverpool game, they're going to be right up for it. The crowd, that Ellen Road roar is going to be
12th man,
insane.
It has been really flat this season, especially. I mean, the Fulham game was weird. Villa game just couldn't get going. So we need a good. I think 3 o'clock kickoff will help as well, because there'll be some people deep into a few pints. Not me, obviously, but
no, other people,
other people, yeah.
Other less responsible.
I'm one of those people that'll be using the rail seats for the first time on Saturday.
Oh, safe standing.
Oh yeah. Right. Okay. What's a rail seat then, Barney? What is it?
So basically, you've just got a bar in front of you, and you've still got a seat. But I did when I was with the trust, and they were talking about rail seating. Basically, seating will go up in league games, but when you're in Europe, the seat has to go down.
Basically, in Europe.
I knew the optimism would come.
Doing it again. He's doing it again, for fuck's sake.
I always have to get it in. But I think it's just making sure it's a little bit more safer for people, because we do stand up in the Kop and in the South Stand as well. So if you've got that bar in front of you, and the amount of times when we've scored, I've got bruises left, right, and centre on my legs and all sorts. Hopefully, I won't get that this time when we're beating them 2-0.
Yeah, but one of the biggest crushes I ever had, when I literally every ounce of air went out of my lung, was when Leeds scored UPR in the Cup in. God, a long time ago, 1987, and Brendan Ormsby scored the header and then ran up to the Kop and jumped onto the railings, and my mate said, "Oh, stand behind this bar." Fucking stupid idea. No, if you're little, stand in front of it. But I stood behind it with him, and me and my mate. I looked at him at one point when there was a massive surge, obviously, like they used to do in them days. We were both like bent double around this. It was like a cartoon, bent double around this bar with like literally purple with air completely out of my lungs. So yeah, I don't know if bars help, but it's not quite like it used to be in 1987. To be fair.
Final thoughts, gentlemen, and then I'll let you go back to your busy lives.
Final thoughts. I just want to say, Donny, you called it last week when we were doing the podcast, saying about magical thinking. So,
do you know I wasn't going to bring that up?
Yeah, you're waiting for me to. Because you knew I'd do it. You would butter you up. But you called the magical thinking, and the magical thinking came off. So we need more magical thinking. That's one of my thoughts.
Okay, Barnes.
I'm really shit at this segment because I'm not really a deep thinker. So
you been doing anything recently? Any kind of final thought?
Final thought. Just enjoy football. Just stress about where we're going to get points and this and that. Just football's not just about going to watch your team. It's about that community and meeting up with mates every single week. So yeah, and one of the reasons why we set up this podcast is because we're just mates talking about football, really.
Yeah, and it was a lockdown,
Yeah,
we couldn't do that, could we? That's where it all generated from. That's where the birth of the idea came from. Yeah, I think you're right, but I think a lot of the really sort of vile and vitriolic stuff and the kind of horrible stuff does come from people who, don't go and don't get to experience that as much as, that I know that it's been flat recently. I know the Fulham game was poor, the atmosphere was poor and people seem to have given up a little bit. The apathy was definitely setting in, but most of the time you go there and it's not just for the game, is it? It's to meet up with people, have a beer, get involved in all the sort of stuff around the game. So if you don't get to experience that, then you're only hanging your whole mood and your whole weekend on what the result is more than anything else.
Okay, final few comments from you lovely lot then. Gary Keith, so glad to have got you lads live for a change. Glad to see you alive as well, Gary.
Cheers, Gary.
Greetings from New Zealand, where Leeds were everywhere. And he also says, I hope their legs aren't too short after Liverpool. And I read that as short. And I just thought about Willie Nonto being the shortest forward in the Premier League ever. Shame I can't go. Got the COVID, says Dirty Leeds. Oh, I'm sorry, Dirty Leeds. We do hope you get better. Quarterfinal was there in the cup. Got passed down from back to bottom when we scored.
Yeah, I kind of got passed from top to halfway down, bent round a post, nearly died. I'd pissed at my mate, had a piss on my mate, which was good fun. So yeah, I remember that game with much fondness. It was great. The photographs actually have got a lad, Andy Sharrett, who lives near me. He's the guy who's the steward who's grabbing onto Ormsby's kind of thighs as he's on the fence, sort of giving it to the cop. So I love that photograph.
Still worried. Best games against Chelsea, Arsenal, and Liverpool, says Gail. Good to finish on a positive, Gail.
Gail's been watching me for too long.
Yeah, that's it. I remember Gail used to be real positive. Well done, boys, says Bandy. Thank you, Bandy.
Cheers, Bandy.
And Matt Murphy, the unemployed lad from San Jose.
Oh, nice one, Matt.
Sorry, I've given it to you ever since you mentioned it, Matt. Sorry. It was good to catch you. Nice to get a perspective on American players. Thanks.
Hey, listen, you can watch all the backlog on YouTube, mate, or listen to it on Spotify while you're not working.
That's true. We got to suss out the new
loads for you to get through.
Block, says Gary. Yeah, there is certainly a massive catalogue. Right. If you like that, subscribe, tell your friends, tattoo on your mother's arms. The name of the Roaring Peacock podcast. Oh, we have to beat Bournemouth. Come on, Leeds. Come on.